Honestly, Kopitar's a great hockey player, but he's got to go down as one of the ugliest guys out there. NHL 10, what a year it was. Eric Goodbranson was drafted 3rd overall. Oh boy. There was a two-way tie for the Rocket Richard Trophy between Sidney Crosby and Steven Stamkos at 51 goals each, and Paul Kariya played his last NHL game. Now I have a Kariya jersey right there. I wanted to wear it, but the Mighty Ducks jersey seemed a little bit more fitting considering that's where he was most known for. One of my favorite players played his last game in the NHL 2009, NHL 2010 season. So we're rocking the Mighty Ducks jersey for this one. Now this game, NHL 10, is very close to my heart. It is when, before, I loved the franchise, I loved playing the games, but this is when I became completely and utterly obsessed with the NHL franchise. That is for one game mode and one game mode only, BAGM mode. Now we will get into that in the next video. In this video we are going to go ahead and look at the rosters, maybe play a little bit. Let's see if they have that practice mode. They do have the shooting drill. Alright, now every time we try this, let's see if I can actually use Paul Kariya. He played on the Blues at this point, I believe. Where is he? Yeah, he's still there. He is. He's got 85 overall. What a beauty. What a beauty. One of my favorite players growing up. Now, like I said, I became absolutely obsessed with this game during this time because they brought the Blackberries in for franchise mode for the trade day. Oh my god. I spent a stupid amount of hours. I think I even stayed home from school. Like, I faked sick multiple times because I was just making trades on my little Blackberry. But so this was the year that the skill stick definitely took over. You could definitely feel it's been definitely tweaked. And okay, well, that looked like it hit. I don't know about that. There you go, 68 miles an hour. Bar down. My eventual goal is to own every single Paul Kariya jersey. That's on my list. That's on my list. Let's see if I can go 4 for 4 here. All right, so that's 1. That's 2. All right, Paul. Come on, Paul. That's 3. Can he do it? Going for 4. Paul. Oh my god. Okay, top left. There you go. Bottom right. I would really like to see how this mini game here, just the shooting the targets, would work on today's NHL. I think it would be really cool. Obviously, it's quite a bit of work to put this in, but let's get this thing over with here. Let's see if I can go. Oh, this is it. 4 for 4 with Paul Kariya. Victory. 4 for 4. Oh my god, look at this skating. Oh my god. What is this? Vesa Toskala between the pipes. Oh, what a save! Oh, Vesa. Look at just the play. They just glide on the ice. It's so weird. So weird. When you start off, the player just kind of glides. It's really, really weird. And there's no real... Oh, a little dangle. Oh, okay, never mind. Now, I didn't play a lot on NHL 10 because I was so obsessed with franchise mode, or GM mode as it was called. I never really played at all, so this feels really foreign to me. It feels really weird. Yeah, I'm just going to get out of this. So let's have a look at some rosters, and right away you're going to see the man, Teemu Selanne. There you go. This guy was so much fun. 39 years old, and he still played until he was like 42, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, the Anaheim Ducks roster, last time we checked this out, there was the highest rated player a few years ago was Scott Niedermayer, and it was Chris Pronger. But I think this year, it's Jerome McGinley. I could be wrong, but we'll have a look anyways. So Jonas Hiller, he's 84 overall, knocking on the door of J.S. Giguère as the starting goalie for the Anaheim Ducks. Oh man, the Atlanta Thrashers. Was this the last year for the Thrashers? I just looked it up. The Thrashers lasted one more year after this. So Brian Little, anyone else went over to the Winnipeg Jets. Chris Thorburn, Jim Slater, a couple of Winnipeg Jets. Kovalchuk wanted nothing to do with that. He was like, I am not going to Winnipeg. Not happening. It's a pretty weak defensive core, and I assume they have Kari Lehtinen in the cage, 84 overall. Tim Thomas and Tuukka Rask. Obviously, the Bruins won the Cup the next year, so he's pretty highly rated. Lucic, Mark Savard, and Phil Kessel. All right, so they changed him over to a sniper. Last year he was a dangler. We didn't have that category this year. Blake Wheeler. Not many people know he was actually drafted by the Boston Bruins, and they let him go, I think, for pretty much nothing. Chuck Kobasu, what's up, buddy? Chara, Aaron Ward, what a defensive lineup there. Buffalo with the Slug. Bring back the Slug jersey. I have like 3 or 4 of the Slug jerseys hanging up on my wall. I absolutely love the Slug. Bring back the Slug. Ryan Miller, 87 overall. Ole Jokinen, 85. Jerome McGinley's a 93, so he's by far the highest rated player we've seen so far. Recently retired Jerome McGinley should be a first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion. Mika Kiprasov, 88 overall, one of my favorite goalies growing up. Sergei Samsonov, one of my favorite players actually growing up. He was a blast to watch, especially when he went to the Cup with the Edmonton Oilers. That was so much fun to watch. New head coach, Rod Brendamore of the Carolina Hurricanes. Yanni Pitkinen, Thomas Caberlet's older brother, I think. There you go. He actually won a cup with the Carolina Hurricanes, so he has a cup ring. So does his brother actually with the Bruins. Cam Ward, 90 overall. He now actually plays for the Hawks. Patrick Sharp, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane. This is when Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews really started to become superstars, obviously winning the cup, and then they won a couple more, and they took home some pretty decent hardware, and then Antti Niemi actually becomes a starter next year, and then they win the cup. So there you go, Chicago. Wojtek Wolski for the Colorado Avalanche. Marek Svatos. Marek Svatos actually passed away, I think 2 years ago or something, which is kind of crazy. Adam Foote. There's some names I haven't heard in a long time. Craig Anderson. Now, Craig Anderson's kind of weird because he's 28 right now, and then he didn't really peak until he had one good year with Colorado, and then he moved on, and obviously we now know him as a starting goalie for the Ottawa Senators, but for how much longer? Rick Nash, RJ Umberger, Christian Huselius, the assist master. Calder Trophy winner, Steve Mason. Louis Eriksson, the $6 million man from Vancouver. Brendan Morrow, the captain. Mike Modano. So I believe this was the last year Mike Modano played, 39 years old. Yeah, he should be on his way out after this year. A very, very good career. You can see it dates back all the way to before I was even born. I was born when he was putting up 30 goals and 90 points. But there you go, Mike Modano, Matt Niskanen. So this is 8 years in the past. So a lot of these players aren't even playing right now. Like Johan Franzen, he's still getting paid by the Detroit Red Wings, but he's definitely not playing. Also, they do have the Dangler category still. So they took the Dangler category off of Kessel and put it onto Pavel Datsyuk. Honestly, he should be the only one in the entire game with the Dangler category. Chris Draper, Darren McCarty, Nick Lidstrom still at a 91 overall, even though he's 39. GOAT, Nick Lidstrom. Chris Osgood and Jimmy Howard. Nikolai Habibulin for the Edmonton Oilers. That's funny. Zach Stortini, Alish Hemsky. Who do they have on defense? So yeah, Chris Pronger is probably with the Flyers right now, I think. Look at that old Panthers logo. I love that one. When they break the stick, that's awesome. Steven Reinprecht, Keith Ballard. Oh man, worst Canucks trade ever. And Thomas Vokoun between the pipes. Dustin Brown, future captain. 86 overall. Anze Kopitar at 22. Honestly, Kopitar's a great hockey player, but he's got to go down as one of the ugliest guys out there. Just super unfortunate looking. Good thing he's great at hockey because he is not killing it in the looks department. 82 overall, Jonathan Quick, brunette. Marty Havlat, one of my favorites growing up. Pierre-Marc Bouchard, so sick. I was actually looking at this guy's stats in junior the other night. The guy put up like a stupid amount of points. He was a beast. That's why they took him top 10, obviously. Owen Nolan. Oh man, 37 years old. I believe he had a professional tryout with the Canucks, but then obviously that never lasted, and now he's long gone, retired. Nick Schultz, Brent Burns on the Minnesota Wild. Yes, he was drafted by the Minnesota Wild, and look at Nicholas Backstrom, not the player, the goalie. Kind of looks upset in that picture, but now if you remember the big piece that came over to Minnesota from the San Jose Sharks, I'll tell you who it was once we get there. A lot of people forget that was the big piece that actually brought Brent Burns over to the San Jose Sharks, but Mike Camilleri, Brian Giunta, this is when the Habs were really, really small. Look at this, 5'9" for Mike Camilleri. Scott Gomez is not a giant. He's, 5'11". Brian Giunta is, 4'9", 5'7". He's absolutely tiny, except for big bad George Larocque. What a monster. 6'3", 253. Could you imagine just fighting that guy? That would literally be the worst thing ever. 22-year-old Carey Price. There you go. Wade Belak. Oh, man. Steve Sullivan, David Legwan, Jason Arnott, Stanley Cup champion winning gold, Jason Arnott, Ryan Suter, and Shea Weber. Oh, man. Little do you guys know you will be making so much money in a couple of years. Pekka Rinne is finally the starting goalie. Looks so young. He looks so young. New Jersey, Marty Brodeur. He's got to be, what, 30? Yeah, 37. So he's definitely coming up in age there. Kevin Weeks as the backup. Zajac, Parise, Langenbrunner. So obviously the next year is when the New Jersey Devils acquired Ilya Kovalchuk, and they signed him to that stupid contract. The defense is looking pretty weak. Not good. Rick DiPietro, was this the last year he played, like, consistently? I guess, did he ever really play consistently? Jeff Tambellini, oh my god, look at this lineup. That's got to be the worst lineup in the entire NHL. Oh, Josh Bailey as a grinder? What? EA, hello? What? Even their defense is like unbelievably weak. So obviously they finished last and drafted John Tavares, Sean Avery, Chris Drury, Marian Gaborik. Now, for you guys that played Ultimate Team back in the day, back in like NHL, for anywhere from like NHL 11 to NHL 15, you know Marian Gaborik was pretty much a cheat code in Ultimate Team. There's a quick look at the defense. Obviously, Henrik Lundqvist, Pascal Leclerc right there, 84 overall. Unfortunately, never really worked out for Pascal Leclerc. Injury problems took him away from the NHL. He was pretty good, though, in his days with Columbus, but potential was there. Just those injuries really ended up catching up to him. Heater, Spezza, Alfredson, what a line. Alexei Kovalev, Chris Phillips, Volchenkov, Chris Pronger, there he is, 92 overall. So the best player we've seen so far has been 93, I believe, which is Jerome McGinley. Claude Giroux, 21 years old, not even a pitcher on the guy, getting first-line minutes with Jeff Carter and Scotty Hartnell. Ray Emery in the cage, rest in peace, Razor. Brizgalov in Phoenix, not Arizona. I think they went to Arizona the year after this or the year after that. But Kyle Turris ended up playing, I think, half a year for them, and he's like, I do not want to play for you guys. Get me out of this franchise. And obviously, the rest is history. He was moved on to Ottawa, and now he's with Nashville. Nigel Dawes, KHL legend. Have a look at Pittsburgh. So Crosby is 94 and Malkin's 93. So those are the top three players, it looks like. Can't think. Maybe Ovechkin's probably. Maybe Ovechkin's higher. We'll see. Kunitz, Billy Guerin. Oh, man. Matt Cook, Brooks Orpik, Sergei Gonchar, and then Marc-Andre Fleury in the cage. Moving on to the Blues, you're going to see my man, Paul Kariya. There you go. Unfortunately, again, really robbed of his NHL career because of the concussion issues, but one of the greatest, in my opinion. Fun fact, Paul Kariya has exactly the same amount of points as the same amount of games played. Off the top of my head, I think it's like 8 or 989 or something like that. I could be wrong, but I have to look it up, actually. Oh my god, I was right. 989. Basic math, like basic school studies, in one ear and out the other, but Paul Kariya, 989 points in 989 games. That seems to stick. So the big piece that brought Brent Burns to San Jose is actually not even playing, but that is Charlie Coyle. They drafted him pretty high, I think top 10 or top 15, and that was obviously one of the big pieces that ended up landing big bad Brent Burns. But Evgeny Nabokov between the pipes, Vinny Prospol, we got Vinny Lecavalier and Martin Saint-Louis. Anyone else? Steven Stamkos had an 83 overall. So this guy hit 51 goals this year at 19. What a beast. Matthias Oland, Canucks legend, and then Mike Smith. Moving on here to Toronto, Vesa Toskala, Nikolai Kulemin, Garbage-Oski, Ponikarovsky. This is the team where it was basically a meme on the internet. Everyone was like, oh, Mike Komisarek, Mike Van Ryan, Jeff Finger. They signed this guy to a massive contract, like $4.5 million or something, and he was obviously not worth it. Kind of like the David Clarkson kind of deal. The Twins and Alex Burrows, Matt Sundin. Why did you ever come to Vancouver? What are you doing? Nastiest hands in the entire world, Kyle Wellwood. That was when we had that super dark green in our logo. But Willie Mitchell, Sammy Salo. So the only members of this team, I guess, is Alex Edler. Yeah, the only standing member on this team still is Alex Edler. So Ovechkin is 92, so it looks like Crosby is the highest overall player by 1. So just from my memory, I think it goes Ovechkin at 92, Iginla 93, I think it was Malkin 93, and then it was obviously Crosby at 94. So there you go. That is the Washington Capitals lineup. 8 years in the future, you guys will have a Stanley Cup, don't you worry. And Jose Theodore will not be a part of it, nor will Semyon Varlamov. The only people who will be a member of the team are Ovechkin, Backstrom, and that's it. So there you go. The rest of you guys, see you later. And that's it. There's no Winnipeg Jets. That's it. So yeah, Gino was 93, Crosby was 94. There you go. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. In another video that's going to be uploaded today, we are going to be doing a 1-year GM mode playthrough with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bring back this jersey. This is a beautiful sweater. Bolts. This GM mode is awesome because they have the BlackBerry phones. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys then.